Welcome, Truth Seeker. This is Al Moranton, CEO and product developer at MyFitLife. In this video, I cover the truth about CBD and high blood pressure. Can CBD affect your blood pressure? Now, this is something that is important to be aware of, especially if you take high blood pressure medications. I'll go over some clinical studies that have actually been done on CBD and high blood pressure. I'll discuss my personal experience working with clients over the years. I'll show you what to look out for if you do take high blood pressure medication and CBD. And I'll discuss what dosages of CBD are typical for success. Okay, so let me share my screen with you. All right, let me make this bigger. All right, so this right here is an article on healthline.com. It's like a WebMD, so it's a mainstream website. It's not a CBD or cannabis website. It is a very mainstream website. The title of the article is 6 Health Benefits of CBD Oil. There are a few clinical studies mentioned in there. Here are 2 of them from the National Institute of Health. The effects of acute and sustained cannabidiol or CBD dosing for 7 days on the hemodynamics in healthy men, a randomized controlled trial. And the other one is from the National Institute of Health. A single dose of cannabidiol reduces blood pressure in healthy volunteers in a randomized crossover study. Okay, so back to the healthline.com article. The 6 health benefits, it discuss pain relief, mental health, which is like anxiety, stress, depression, etc., cancer symptom relief, neuroprotection, things like epilepsy, seizures, other neurological disorders. Heart health is where the high blood pressure lives. Okay, so may benefit heart health. So right here it says some research has linked CBD with several benefits for the heart and circulatory system, including the ability to lower high blood pressure. High blood pressure is linked to higher risks of a number of health conditions, including stroke, heart attack, and metabolic syndrome. Studies indicate that CBD may be beneficial for people with high blood pressure. In a small study, 9 healthy men were treated with 600 milligrams of CBD oil. The CBD treatment reduced resting blood pressure compared with placebo. In the same study, the men also took part in stress tests that normally increase blood pressure. Interestingly, the single dose of CBD led the men to experience a smaller blood pressure increase than normal in response to these tests. In another study that included 26 healthy men, found that treatment with 600 milligrams of CBD for 7 days led to significant reductions in blood pressure in the short term compared with a placebo group. And over here, the CBD group maintained lower blood pressure levels in response to stress compared with the placebo group after repeated doses over time. So the CBD group maintained lower blood pressure levels in response to stress compared with the placebo group after repeated doses over time. The researchers also found that the CBD group have reduced arterial stiffness and improved blood flow through their arteries after repeated CBD dosing compared to the placebo group. Overall, these findings are encouraging, but we need more studies of the potential benefits of CBD treatment on heart health. And the summary is, though more human studies are needed, CBD may benefit heart health in several ways, including by reducing blood pressure and improving artery function. So that's a pretty huge statement for a mainstream website like this. And it's important to understand how CBD affects blood pressure, especially in today's world with the sudden adult death syndrome and all the heart attacks that are happening in the young people, etc. Okay, so that's the clinical studies that, so let me go over my personal experience with CBD and high blood pressure. Now, we've had great success with that. We haven't had anybody come to us specifically for blood pressure. We don't claim to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any illness or disease with any of our products or programs. But people have come to us for other reasons and taken CBD for other reasons. But we have over 100 people that have been taken off of their blood pressure medications that are taking our CBD. They have been taken off their blood pressure medication by their doctor. They didn't choose to themselves. Their doctor took them off of their blood pressure medication because they didn't need it any longer. And I'll give you the first example that I had of this several years ago when I first started the CBD portion of our company. And that's with a gentleman named Grampy Pat. Now, he's an artisan bread maker that I first met at the City of Orange Farmers Market in Orange County, California. And I became fast friends with him because he made, like this heirloom variety sourdough bread that was just amazing. And, I'm all about, health and, healthy eating, etc. So anyways, he found out about our CBD and referred his brother, then his son, and they had such great success that he ended up, he referred 20 plus of his friends and family, and they all had such amazing success that he said, hey, I think I'm going to take your CBD just because my family and friends are having such success with it. I'm, relatively healthy. I don't have anything really going on, but I'm going to take it just in case. So maybe, it'll prevent stuff from happening or whatever, so I'll just take it. And after about a month or so, he was taking it. I went over to the farmer's market one day and there was some ambulances there. And I was like, oh, wow, I hope that's not for Grampy Pat. I just jokingly said to myself. And when I made my way over to where his stand was, he wasn't there. And the person next to him was there taking over. And I was like, where's Grampy Pat? And they go, oh, they just took him away in the ambulance. So it was there for him. And it turns out he had a heart attack 2 years earlier. Now, remember, he said he was fairly healthy, right? But he had a heart attack 2 years earlier and he felt faint and they didn't want to take any chances. So they called the paramedics and took him to the hospital. Now, it turns out he was fine. He went back to that was a Saturday morning. He went back to the doctor on Monday and the doctor did some tests on him and he said, hey, you're fine, but one thing is your blood pressure, it seems normal now and you don't really need your blood pressure medication. So I'm going to take you off of your blood pressure medications and we'll have you come back in a couple months and, see how you're doing. Okay. So I went to the farmer's market, and he, relayed this story to me and that was pretty cool, And one of the things that was sort of funny is, he told me that the doctor took him off the blood pressure medication, but he also said that his wife was asking what he was taking, if and what that new stuff that he was taking, because he was chasing her around the house, getting frisky with her. And mind you, he's in his mid 70s at this point, right? And so she wasn't used to that. It was a nice change for them. And anyways, fast forward a couple more months, and I'm at the farmer's market, and Grampy Pat, he calls me over to his booth and says, "Hey, and he's been in CBD about 4 months now, on our CBD for about 4 months at this point." And he goes, "Hey, I went back for my checkup to the doctor, and my blood pressure is fine. I'm still off the blood pressure medications, but he also took me off of both of my arthritis medications." He goes, "I was on 2 blood pressure medications and 2 arthritis medications, And I've been off of the blood pressure medications for a couple of months now, and he just took me off of the arthritis medications last week because he said I don't need those anymore. And so I'm off of 4 medications. I feel great. My wife loves what I'm taking too. And he goes, life is wonderful. I don't know what more to tell you, and that's just like some of the success that he had from the only thing he changed was taking 1 capsule in the morning and 1 capsule in the evening. He didn't change his diet. He still drank his craft beers on the weekend with his friends, at the, brewery and all that in Orange County. And, he's in his mid-70s. He said he was fairly healthy, but he was on 4 medications, but he's not on them anymore. And this is several years later. It's awesome, what happened to him. So, like I said, there's over 100 people that have been taken off their blood pressure medications by their doctors after they've been on our CBD for a while. And they didn't come to us for that reason. The most recent example of that just happened last week. I was talking with a good friend of mine that started taking our product, 2, 3, 4 years ago. I went to breakfast with him. I hadn't seen him in a long time, and turns out he was suffering from a bunch of, discomfort and from an accident and some other things, and never was able to find relief through medications, through physical therapy, through everything, energy healing, all that stuff. He tried everything, and, spent tens of thousands of dollars, trying to overcome this. And I gave him a protocol, gave him the product, and 3 days later, he sent me a text, said, "Are you effing kidding me? I've been years, doing this, 12 Advil a day. I'm down to 3. I'm sure I'll be down to nothing in a few days, and I love this stuff." 3, 4 years later, he's still off of everything, right? And just taking our stuff and a couple other little herbs or whatever. And I'm talking to him, because he's, asking about some stuff. We're readjusting his protocol and, with the CBD and some other superfoods like spirulina, etc. And I mentioned about the high blood pressure. I didn't think it was an issue for him, but I had just came up in conversation, and he said, "Hey, you know what? I give blood, every 2 months. I give the platelets or the blood, whatever, and I donate, and they do my vitals, every 2 months, and forever it's always been high. It's always been high, but ever since I've been taking your CBD, my blood pressure has been like normal, not just come down, but it's actually normal." And so I feel great and all that kind of stuff, but that's something I never mentioned to you because I didn't really know if that was related or not. But it is amazing, and they think it's amazing too. So that's a good example right there. He came for another reason. It normalized his blood pressure. He's not a big medication kind of person. So he was refusing the blood pressure meds and just living with his high blood pressure, but now it's normal, just by coincidence, right? So those are just some examples of success in the real world. There's the clinical studies, but there's also the anecdotal success from several clients. So what to look out for, if you do take CBD and take high blood pressure medications yourself, okay? Now, this is with our CBD. I don't know about other people's. This is just what I've experienced with ours. But if you're taking our CBD and you take high blood pressure medication, then just pay attention if you start to feel faint, just like Grumpy Pat. was feeling faint, and they called the ambulance because he had the heart attack earlier, and they were just, you know, being careful. Well, if you do if you have high blood pressure and you're taking blood pressure medication, then you start taking the CBD, and the CBD somehow normalizes your blood pressure. When you take the blood pressure medication, then that'll bring your blood pressure down too low, and you can feel faint because of that. Okay, and if that happens, then go to your doctor and just, you know, mention this video, you know, and the scenario, and see if you know, still need your blood pressure medication, and he'll be able to tell you yes or no. And so I'll mention the dosage in just a second, but I'll let you know sort of the reason why, you know, what I believe is the reason why it helps with blood pressure and so many other things, so many other conditions, etc., is because it feeds your endocannabinoid system, which has to do with providing homeostasis to your body, which basically is balance. So if you have high blood pressure, you're out of balance, out of whack. If you have normal blood pressure, you're in balance. So the homeostasis you can't be in homeostasis and have high blood pressure at the same time. So it just sort of normalizes all the different systems in your body. It works in congruence with them. Your endocannabinoid system is an actual system in your body, and it works in congruence with the other ones to balance them out. So, and that's the reason why I feel that it helps to normalize blood pressure. And that's what's been found in the studies that you see, you know, right here on this healthline.com and in the National Institute of Health articles as well, right, that are right here. Okay, so dosages for success. So the dosage for success is the minimal dosage, which is basically the 25 milligrams twice a day, right, of our CBD. That's what I've found. Like I said, I don't know about others because I've never studied others. I just know what is true with ours. So if you take more, obviously, then you know you can have success. But people have success, you know, for a variety of different conditions. You know, with our minimal dose of 50 milligrams a day, 25 milligrams in the morning, 25 milligrams in the evening. And that's what Grampy Pat was taking, and he had his success, and many people have had success and been you know, with their conditions, and then been taken off of their high blood pressure medications as well. And remember, and none of those people came with that concern, like I want to be taken off my high blood pressure medication. Most people don't want to be on a high blood pressure medication, but they don't think it's possible to ever be taken off of it, right? And that's not something that, you know, I even ever promote, but I wanted to make this video to make people aware of the if they do become faint from high blood from taking CBD and taking high blood pressure medication at the same time, because more and more people are taking high blood pressure medication today. So this is a possible alternative to that, you know, and we see the success with these studies and the anecdotal success through the people, you know, the clients that I've had in my Fit Life over the years, you know, doing our CBD and our protocols. Okay, so that concludes this session of The Truth About CBD and High Blood Pressure. Remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Join the MyFitLife community on Facebook, or subscribe to our newsletter on our website at myfitlife.net if you enjoy these types of videos. And remember, knowledge is power and health is wealth. This is Al Morenton with MyFitLife. Thank you and have a beautiful day. Peace.